I will shift in English because I would like to introduce Mr. Giles Dickson, the CEO of WindEurope. We finally managed to have you with us, Giles, and thank you very much. I understand that you are in the middle of some confusion with your flight schedule. So without further introductions, I would like to ask you for your contribution to this event that we are organizing today regarding the circular economy, wind energy, and the recycling of the blades of the wind turbines. Following in the next section, there is another speaker from WindEurope, Alexander, who is deeply expert in this subject, but we are always happy to have you with us and to collect some of your wisdom. So Giles, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Good morning to you all. I hope that you can hear me loud and clear. I'm delighted to be here with you. As you say, my colleague, Alex van den Berger, will be speaking later, and he will talk in more detail about the technology around recycling. I'd like to take this opportunity to say a few words about where wind energy is in Europe today and to put recycling and circular economy in that context. So where is wind in Europe today? The blue bars are the gigawatts of installed capacity onshore and offshore combined in every country. You can see that, of course, Germany has the most. The red bars are the share of wind in every country's electricity mix. There, Denmark comes top, but look, it's more than 1/4 in Germany, the UK, Portugal, and Ireland. It's above 20% in Spain. Where is wind energy going from here? So that's the capacity that we have installed today. That is what the European Union wants us to have in 2030, and that is what the European Union wants us to have in 2050. The dark blue onshore, the light blue offshore. Those numbers that you see on the right-hand side, that is what the Green Deal is all about. These huge volumes of wind energy capacity are meant to deliver 1/2 of all of the electricity we consume in Europe by 2050. And of course, electricity will be a much bigger share of the total energy mix. It's through these volumes that Europe will achieve energy security, will become less dependent on expensive fossil fuel imports from unreliable countries. It's through these figures that Europe will reduce its exposure to expensive fossil fuels. It will reduce energy bills for consumers. And there's another aspect in which the Green Deal is good for the economy. Look how many people work in wind energy in Europe today. Look how many will be working in wind in Europe by 2030. That is wind energy's contribution to EU GDP today. And every time we build a new wind turbine, on average, it generates 10 million euros worth of economic activity. But we have a challenge. We are not building enough new wind farms. We have today published the statistics for wind energy in Europe. In 2021, we built only 11 gigawatts in the European Union. We're meant to be building 30 gigawatts a year to meet the EU's 2030 climate and energy targets. And this is the biggest problem, the complexity of the permitting rules and procedures. Now, the EU has new rules, which it's going to start enforcing. All permit decisions have to be taken within 2 years of initial application. That is very good. And this summer, the European Commission will issue detailed guidance to all the national governments on how they can simplify their permitting rules and procedures. A key aspect of permitting, of course, is biodiversity. Biodiversity is often the source of legal challenges against wind farm permits. Let's just look at the impact on bird life of wind energy. For every collision, regrettable though it is, of course, between a wind turbine and a bird, there are 900 collisions with vehicles. There are 2,500 with buildings, and there are 10,000 birds that suffer at the hands of Europe's cats. This is a map of a wind farm that we're looking to build, and it shows how carefully we examine the site and the migratory routes of the birds before we decide where to place the wind farm and the individual turbines within it. Now, we're going one step further. This is in the US. They have started painting blades black. This deters the white condor. These cameras we're starting to install on turbines now to monitor where there may be birds approaching. These sensors, which give out ultrasonic pitches, are deterring bats from flying close to turbines as well. Let's look at the prices. Here you see the auction prices for onshore wind in the last 8 years. They've stabilized somewhat, but the costs have come down a lot. There's a lot of wind blowing at the moment in Europe. It always does. In February, it's particularly strong at this moment in time. And it has been seen in many countries that the very high levels of wind energy output today are helping to bring wholesale electricity prices down. And this is a positive thing. We must keep reminding ourselves, wind energy is one of the cheapest forms of new power generation. It's much cheaper than gas, coal, or nuclear. Now, the European Commission has recently issued new state aid guidelines for the auctions that national governments run for wind and solar. And they're really very good. They make it very clear that it's absolutely fine for governments to run technology-specific auctions. This idea that governments have to run technology-neutral auctions, it's false news. Read these guidelines. They make it very clear. Technology-specific is okay. Now, let's go back to the sustainability on the left here. You see how long it takes us when a wind farm starts operating to pay back the energy that we've consumed in the manufacturing of the turbines, the construction of the wind farm, the transportation of the equipment. It's not long. You can see, and of course, we never pay back the energy penalty when it comes to conventional power generation. What about the recyclability of the turbine? Today, it's only 85 to 90% that is recyclable. As we all know, the challenge is the blades. Now, we want to do something about that. First of all, to improve the sustainability of all of our supply chain, WindEurope issued this set of principles. All of the big players in the industry sign up to these. When we're importing components and materials from third countries, we must apply these sustainable supply chain principles. And now the big turbine manufacturers want to go further. They want fully recyclable blades. Siemens Gamesa by 2030, Vestas also by 2030. And to support that, in WindEurope, we have now called for a total ban on the landfilling of blade waste by 2025. We've asked governments to ban it, and we have committed ourselves as an industry to put no more blade waste in landfill by 2025. Now, we may only have fully recyclable blades by 2030, but there are other things we can do to avoid landfill. We can make more use of recovery, crucially through cement co-processing. We can give our blade waste, when we've shredded it, to large cement factories that can burn it, and this helps reduce the CO2 footprint of cement and concrete manufacturing. So it's win-win for the circular economy. But ultimately, of course, we are aiming for the full recyclability, and my colleague Alex will explain much more about that later on. Let me end just by stressing one thing. There's a lot of wind turbines and wind farms now coming to the end of their normal operational life, the 20 years, the 25 years. Most of those are getting lifetime extensions today. That is what's happening. The light blue is the share that are being repowered. It's not very many. And then there are quite a lot of wind farms that are being fully decommissioned when they get to the end of life. We expect that over time, the share of repowered wind farms will grow significantly. And repowering is a very good thing, because when you repower an existing wind farm, you more than double the capacity, you treble the output because the turbines are more efficient, and you achieve that with fewer turbines, usually 1/3 fewer turbines. Of course, we will be decommissioning, whether we fully decommission the wind farm or whether we repower it, so the volume of blade waste will grow. And here you can see the bars showing each year the volume of blade waste from the decommissioned turbines is growing, and you can see the curve shows the cumulative increase there, how the increase is rising year by year, and you can see which countries are producing the most of this blade waste. These are key challenges for the industry. It's a top priority for us to ensure that we are fully circular, and it's very good that today you are having this event to focus on these very issues. We are an industry in the sustainability business. We have to be fully sustainable in the way that we manage ourselves and operate. Thank you for your attention.
Giles, your speech, as always, was very inspiring, and we thank you very much about it. You raised the bar quite high, and we also have a very high standards in Greece and high expectations for the further evolution of wind energy. I think you were a little bit provocative regarding the bureaucracy having to do with our wind energy investments in the country. And since we have together with us Alexandra Zdoukou, who is somehow leading the effort to battle bureaucracy, I would like to ask from Alexandra if she could take this challenge and tell us a few words about her future plans on how to tackle it and to decrease all the licensing delays and the problems. I expect, Giles, that you have a few moments still to do.
I have, yes.
Okay, fantastic. So, Alexandra.
First of all, no, I always enjoy also listening to Giles, and his presentations are always so well documented with data and useful insight from what is happening in Europe. So, Panagiotis, I'm also a fan of Giles. Thank you very much, and it's always, a pleasure, I would say, for Greece cooperating with WindEurope. We want this international expertise and know-how in order to make our lives here, the procedures and investors, I think, need better and easier. Regarding your question, Panagiotis, I will not hide the truth that in Greece we also face the red tape problem, and you investors, you know this from first hand very well. But at the same time, you know that this is also a priority for the government, for the ministry here. Allow me to say it's a personal challenge also for me to tackle the bureaucracy and manage at the end, reach this optimum level of achieving the completion of a permitting chain process in 2 years. I know that this sounds quite optimistic at this moment, but if you don't put, first of all, the target where you want to go, and if you don't insist on this, working towards this direction, it will always remain as a wish. So, Panagiotis, that since the very beginning of our tenure here, we tried to tackle this in the first year with some first interventions in the regulatory framework, and I think we managed at some point to eliminate some obstacles and facilitate, let's say, some processes. Of course, that was not at all enough. We are continuing, and perhaps, I'm not sure if we will open it for public consultation in the next 2 days or at the latest beginning of next week. We will put in public consultation something that you're expecting, the industry is expecting, which is the second phase of what we call a further simplification of licensing processes. There we managed to gather, I think, first to assess several paths in the licensing process that, as I said, makes your life difficult when you get the permits. So we try to map where it is hard for you to get a permit, and why it is hard. I mean, is it necessarily hard or unnecessarily hard to delay? So we map the processes and we try to cut down various things in order to improve the time, which of course is always of essence when talking about building a RES project. And apart from the time, the cost also, and the delays, of course, in the public administration. I believe that with this second phase, we go one step further to, as I said, to the vision which we have ahead. And we continue also through what we call digitalization, because I think that we should focus a lot, not just cutting here and there several documents, several processes, etc. But when we manage to put all these processes on a platform and get the permits, delete completely hard copies and documents, and have all of them electronically, then this will become a reality. And we focus also on this digitalization. We still have a lot of work to do, but at the end, I'm quite optimistic that we will reach this point.
Giles, last comment from you.
Well, that is really good to hear, Alexandra. Thank you very much for your comments, and we look forward very much to your consultation document in 2 days' time, I think you said. It's great to hear you talking about digitalization. You saw from the photograph that I showed. By the way, that was from a permit application in Germany, not in Greece, of all of those files sitting outside the office of the poor official in the permitting authority who's got to plow through them. And that was just one of multiple permit applications needed for one single wind farm in Germany. One of the wind farm developers in Italy recently said to me, it costs us 40,000 euros in photocopying costs alone to prepare the papers for all of the different permit applications we have to present to the different permitting authorities for one single wind farm. So it's great that you're going to digitalize the processes in Greece, and we look forward very much to your document and to continuing to work with you, Alexandra, here on the simplification of the permitting rules and the procedures, crucially. So thank you very much for that.
Giles, thank you very much. You have to catch a flight as far
yes,
as
I do. I'm sorry I have to leave you. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here.
No, very good to see you. And I look forward to seeing as many of you as possible in Bilbao at the annual WindEurope event on the 5th, 6th and 7th of April, including yourself, Alexandra, I hope.
We will be there, Giles.
Excellent. Excellent. We look forward to seeing you. Okay. Very good. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.